Guten Morgen. Welcome to Forex.Today. How you doing, huh? Who's alive? Let me remind you that trading Forex is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Past performance, however, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. So please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Hola. My name is Wayne McDonell. I'm the Chief FX Market Strategist for TradersWay. We're a broker, you're a trader. Let's get together. Let's dance, baby. You pull the trigger, we execute the trade very quickly with very low spreads. You have access to Forex, energies, metals, so on and so forth, stock indices around the world. It's a beautiful thing. Why don't you join me for this dance? The dance of success. The mamushka. So anyways, good morning. Let's get going. How you doing? I'm almost got my voice back. Yeah. All right. So hey, look, it's what, a Tuesday? Okay, so it's Tuesday, 7:30 in the morning, New York time. Very, very, very good. London lunch. S&P 500 futures are up 0.25%. Euro stocks up 1.24%. Crude up 1.25%. Wow. 10-year T-note. The yield on the 10-year T-note, 1.72. That's really bad, unless you're Germany, and then that would be amazing. Euro USD stuck on that big pivot. Did you guys see a drop in the last half an hour? Yeah, I wonder if it's that giant resistance area. Yup. DAX up almost 2%. FTSE up 0.5%. Hang Seng 1.4%. Huge days. Looks like we had a risk on mood overnight, huh? Great trading days. Right? Great trading days. We need to be thankful for some of these, because in a few weeks you might be crying like nothing's happening. Wayne, nothing's happening. This is horrible. And I say, yeah, well, what were you doing when things were good? Right? Hopefully you weren't a spectator kind of thing, right? Where are my notes here? Here we go. Okay, so Asian equity markets were higher, tracking fresh gains in U.S. indices. Yeah, after the latest comments from Fed Yellen's, largely comments from the, wow, poorly written here. Latest comments from Yellen largely confirmed that Friday's disappointing payrolls data puts expectation of policy tightening on hold on the short run. Wow, really? Thank goodness. Reserve Bank of Australia rate hold. And then their statement, they want to keep the cash rate at 1.75 for the foreseeable future. Is that good for the Australian dollar or bad? If the central bank has told us that they're not going to cut interest rates further. Yeah. Game on. Well, it seems to me just like 2 days ago we were talking about either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it, right? Either going to play it or you're not going to play it. Peter says he doesn't think they're done yet. Well, it's one of those things like what you said you don't think. Well, that, I try not to think either. If they said they're done cutting, then as far as I'm concerned, they're done cutting. And it's up to them to change their mind, right? So that's just how I trade, right? It's not my opinion. If they said, 175 is good and they want to keep it there, See what they were doing before. Let's go back in history, like way back, like 5 weeks ago. The Reserve Bank of Australia is like, hey man, if the Aussie dollar drops, that's only good for us. Yeah, you're right, Peter. So I'm just saying, don't try to look for as much fact as possible, right? So I'm just commenting on the don't think, or sometimes people say, I bet they're not done. Well, don't bet, right? So yeah, look at the statement and try to figure out what they were telling us. So compared to last time they said, hey, if the Aussie dollar falls, that's only good for Australia, which means they kind of want it to fall. I mean, isn't their mandate to look out for the best interest of Australia, right? You see what I mean? So if they say, hey, if it falls, we're cool with that, which means they kind of want it to fall. So if they're not saying that anymore, then that could be a change. Okay. There's thoughts that inflation in New Zealand could be a little higher than previously expected. Kiwi dollar ripper up, Aussie dollar ripper up, CAD yen or CAD dollar ripper up, all versus the Japanese yen. I was quite happy with the move in Canada yesterday. I think I was short 4 or 5 trades. And I took 2 or 3 of them off and let the others run. And then you wake up, you're like, yep, got a little more boom boom. So that was good. So what else going on in the world? Seems to me Eurozone did a little bit better than expected. India left interest rates the same. German industrial production beat estimates just slightly, but year over year, they did all right. Remember, we were talking about this yesterday when I went through the calendar. That oh, by the way, there was an earthquake just I guess a half an hour ago in Mexico, 6.1. Oh, yeah. So we were talking about how Germany is a very, 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 very large exporter. So you want to see good industrial production. If you want Germany to recover, and you only want Germany to recover if you want the Eurozone to recover, right? And you'd think a weak euro would be good for German industrial production. Okay. And guess what? China has less money than it used to. Whoa! First decline in 3 months. Lowest level since December 2011. Means they're spending money. Also means there's a lot of flows leaving China, right? Remember all that foreign direct investment? Bank of Korea Governor Lee had to explain why inflation has trailed the 2% target rate for the last 6 months. Yeah. Boom. Where's our inflation? The Chinese vice premier commented from comments. That's interesting. From the Strategic Economic Dialogue meeting that the United States and China agreed to move faster on bilateral investment treaty. And yet I wrote a paper how bilateral treaties only hurt China on the long run. But There you go. Anything else going on? In the Indian Central Bank noted that transmission of policy rate cuts remained a work in progress. Inflation was higher than expected since April, and watching monsoon season for impact on food prices. Remember what I was telling you? Continental India is the same size as continental United States, except there's 3 or 4 times 400 more people, 400% more people. A lot of their economy is agriculture, and they have no food storage. Well, why don't you just build some food storage facilities? I mean, look, I should run India. It's just that easy, right? So anyway, when imagine you're a central banker and the number one concern on your mind is not necessarily monetary policy. It's like, how much will it rain this season? If it rains too much, destroys the crops, there'll be a shortage of food, and prices will skyrocket. And you'll have rampant inflation. But if you just have food in storage, if there's big monsoons and the fields are flooded and the crops are ruined, you just use the food in storage and prices would be stable. Oh, you guys, Alan's talking about the pig spike. Yeah, that's been attributed to a fat finger. Apparently somebody lost 500 billion pounds. Or was it million? Yeah, billion sounds too much. Where did I see that? It would have been 500 million, of course. 500 million pounds somebody gave to somebody else by mistake. See, that's why you want to be in the right place at the right time, huh? Can you imagine? Whoops. So, very, very, very light on the news today. The biggest thing I would say still to go is actually the Asian session. You have Japanese GDP. Wouldn't it be great if Japan just said, yeah, we have 2% inflation? Wouldn't that be neat? So yeah, so very, very quiet, which means it should trade technical. But yeah, so anyways, that's what that big spike was, guys. Somebody made a mistake. Whoops. Yeah, it could have been Pablo. So you got to be careful, guys. So I saw, these one-click orders. Whew, you got to be careful. That's a big loss. How about having to explain that to your boss? Sir, I need to tell you that I clicked the wrong button this morning and I kind of lost money. Oh yeah, how much did you lose? Somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 million British pounds. That's okay. Don't worry about it. It happens to everybody. Cheer up. At least it wasn't your money. Yeah, right, huh? Andrew says, do you think it could have set off algos? Of course, absolutely. That's why you get the spikes. All right, so anyways, let's move on.com. Without much news, we need to trade very technically. Ba 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 da 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 See, that's why you need to have a daughter in your life to keep you apprised of all the best boy bands. Otherwise, your life isn't quite complete. So, okay. Oops. Didn't mean to click that. Ow. Clicking every wrong button you can. Eventually, I hit the right button. Okay, so we got that maybe, right? So I'm trying to show you that, there is a zone going here on here. And if you're playing the pivots, you got a monthly M3, weekly M3 going on. So if you did want to dump the pig, that could be your opportunity as well. So let me mark that. And you're going to say, well, Wayne, which one? And I'll say one or both. What I mean by that is, if you are a bear, you need to pick your lines and say, well, that kind of looks like that might be resistance. So when you get in there, do some shorting, dude. Get involved, right? Can't be a spectator. You need participation. To participate, you need some action. So anyways, you start taking shots, right? Yeah, it could be a 618. Could be a psych level, right? Did you short at 146? So I don't know. There's stuff going on there if you want it to be going on there, and that's the whole thing, right? That's the whole discussion of ambushes. And if that holds, I'm not saying it will, but if that's what your trade plan is, your target's going to be either weekly M1 or monthly M1, depending on how long you want to hold. And I think being short with a stop on pound is not a bad thing, is it? So we go to this area here. Let me stretch out to an hourly. Even that's no good. So let's say that one works. Your target M3 is going to be down here for the week, right? Short at what is it? 46. Short at 46, target 42. And if it goes higher, your target's only going to be the bottom of the range. Cool? Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do I foresee? It has nothing to do with me foreseeing anything, Anthony. That's only technical analysis and what you foresee. And if you want this to come down, you have two places in which I would recommend you consider bringing it down. Resistance at this cluster or resistance at this cluster. Anything else seems like strange to me. How bad is the slippage when Brexit is going to be announced? It's going to be horrible, of course. There's going to be huge gaps and jumps, and the market's going to freeze. It's not the broker. Like, it wouldn't be TradersWay. It'd be the interbanking system in which we, submit the orders, but that'll shut down. It's a huge amount of risk. It's like ridiculous amounts of risk. It could be the end of the Eurozone eventually. I mean, it's crazy. So, if you're going to play it, you should be playing it now. I mean, with all this volatility that's going up, right? So you may have gotten an email from TradersWay, right? If you used to have 400 to 1 leverage, they're bringing that down to sane levels for you, just in case you haven't decided the risk is crazy for yourself. So now you can only get 100 to 1 leverage on Great British Pound because of the risk. And if you think about it, it's probably, there's some counterparty, and they're like, what if there isn't a market and you're leveraged 400 to 1 on the wrong side and you don't get out of a losing trade, right? So Joseph says, isn't everything already priced in? I don't buy that, no. I mean, sort of, but how do you price in people not wanting to trade? Well, I guess then you get this price, right? But does that mean they're not going to trade in 5 minutes? So how do you price what's going to happen in 5 minutes? So yes, there's all known information, and it is a giant auction and all that kind of stuff. Yes, and there's no middleman and there's no exchange muddling things up. Fine, great, good. Okay. But not everything can be priced in a sense. I mean, in a sense, yes, and in a sense, no. Risk is risk. So professionals are reducing their risk. Let me put it another way. Let's say you're a wealth management firm and you manage $5 billion. Okay? And you're held to a fiduciary standard for your clients. Would you be increasing risk because of Brexit or reducing risk because of Brexit? Yeah, that's what smart money's doing, right? Now, sure, there are degenerate gamblers, and in particular hedge funds, that might say, well, we'll either blow up the account, or we'll make 500% return on investment and we'll look good, and then we'll blow up our next fund, right? So there's always cowboys like that, but they come and go. Stupid is as stupid does, right? Garbage money in, garbage money out. Smart investors should be able to see that. So is it useless building a portfolio before the Brexit, basically, right? No, it's not useless, but you better manage, you better have a lot of stops, and you should be up at least 100 pips profit, maybe 200 pips profit before the news. I'd suggest if you're not, you should probably get out of those trades. Because, yeah, if we find out the UK is leaving the Eurozone, could the market gap 200 pips? Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yep. 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 Will it? Oh, I don't know. But have I been in situations when the market's gapped by hundreds of pips? Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. 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 So you need to play it like if you're up 500 pips. I don't know. You're gonna have to make these decisions. But do you want to be in a situation where you're in a binary situation? One, you're filthy, stinking rich. Two, you're dead. No, actually, a lot of people would probably take that bet. But that's assuming you're going in with nothing, right? Hey, I got nothing to lose, right? No, no, no. If you got something to lose, you're not going to take those odds. So be careful, right? I couldn't imagine being a hedge fund manager with, hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, and you're betting it all on Brexit to go your way. That sounds negligent. How many lawsuits do you think you would get? Right? Now, I said fiduciary. If you were a fiduciary, you'd probably be sued to death. Then there's the suitability standard, and that's a different standard. But in the United States, even if there's no sort of legal justification, they can mire you down in legal bills until they break you. So let me just say, you do something stupid with someone else's money, they'll get you. And by the way, on that topic, what does your disclosure document say? Does your disclosure document tell clients that when you come to huge event risks that you're going to like load the boat and gamble their money? Does it say that? What do you think your DDoc says? Oh, that we're risk averse and we look for long-term gains and low volatility, and you say all the right things, right? because you want people to invest in your fund, right? So basically what it says is we don't gamble your money. Most likely, right? But risks are associated with trading online. Risks are associated with blah, 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 blah. But none of it says, yeah, from time to time we like to just go all in and gamble your money, right? Right? So you have that. So if you do act like a degenerate gambler with other people's money, and it doesn't say you do that, like I mean clearly say there are times where we're going to bet the mother load on this one. We might lose all your money on one idea, all of it. If you don't clearly say that, then you're going down in a blaze of glory. Right? You're going to be buried in the sands somewhere between Dubai and Abu Dhabi. They'll never see you again. So, anyways. So, yeah, go ahead and build that portfolio. Yeah. And if you say, well, Wayne, I don't have hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay, I'll tell you what. Go borrow $10,000 from your father-in-law and then gamble his money. Okay, good luck with that. Have a Merry Christmas. That gets us to MS1, and it's a 1382. And then and then that gets us to MM1. Either way, that'd be nice if you're going to play it that way. So of course, you have to be asking yourself, at what time will the market come back down? Because the Fed will raise interest rates, right? Is there any doubt about that? Desmond says in Georgia you get shot. Hey, Desmond, do you know the difference between a hillbilly and a redneck? Yeah, a redneck will kill you. A hillbilly will keep you. All right. So, anyways, so looking at this, I think the Fed will raise interest rates, right? In the next 10 years, the Fed will raise interest rates, right? Yeah, oh yeah, they'll keep you like a pet. Make you squeal like a pig, Desmond. Yeah. So, yeah, in the next 10 years, the Fed will definitely raise interest rates. In the next 5 years, the Fed will definitely raise interest rates. And then I'd say in the next 12 months, yeah, probably, like most definitely. You know, you'd think so, yeah. That's what seems to be playing. Of course, there could be some big crisis somewhere that delays everything. In the next 6 months, well, that's what they're leading us to believe under current circumstances. Now, they do preface everything, with improved data, and the trend is improving. So in the next 6 months, yeah, sure. So this is kind of the logic we're dealing with now, right? How about in the next 3 months? Right? But at some point, the Fed's going to raise interest rates. When it does, this euro dollar is coming down. So the debate here is just a matter of when. Now, why is the euro skyrocketed here? Because people had bet that the Fed was going to raise interest rates in June or July, right? Remember this? I'm going down in a burning ring of fire. I go down, 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 and the flames get higher. Right? And then, boom, whoops, that might not happen. Ciao. Well, good. But has it actually changed anything? Now they're like, oh, wait, maybe July's still on the table. If not July, September. Oh, here we go again. You guys remember this? Fred, I think it was 88, and it was a technical move. It's something I outlined, I don't know, a year and a half ago. So anyways, you know, here we are. The market was mispriced, but at some point the bears are going to get back in. And like I've already discussed, they're either going to sell here or they're going to sell there. So, and if you think July's on the table, you kind of need to be in here, right? Don't you? And even if you're not quite, even if you don't think it's July, but you're a bear, shouldn't you do something? Right? And then if you look at it here, nothing's going on. Right? So you should know that 114 is the ECB no-fly zone. So when you get up in those the 114, 115 area, you should be ready to sell because maybe it's the ECB that brings us down. But, I'm just talking about like, I don't know, for the last year, every time we get to this level, price falls. I don't know. Maybe, maybe it'll fall again. Right? No, am I dumbing it down too much? It fell in January 2015, fell in April 2015, and May 2015, and August 2015, and October 2015, and then February 2016, and then April 2016. I don't know, like, I don't know, maybe it's going to fall again. Could be a rabbit, could be, right? Are you going to play the lower low? Now, none of this makes sense if you're a bull. And you need to feel comfortable with that and just say, well, bulls are going to look at it differently. So you plan your trades and trade your plan and do all that kind of stuff. But, something like that might be going on, don't you think? Could be a rabbit, could be. Right? I don't know. So the thing about it is think about it and prepare for it, right? Desmond says, is it bad that I only trade euro dollar? No. No, it's a great starting point, but I caution you about that in my book from 1,000 years ago. And I say, well, trading one particular currency pair doesn't really make sense because you can get yourself in a situation where you're trading euro dollar, but they're both weak today or they're both strong today, and you're trading like a dumb currency pair. And at best, nothing's going to happen. At worst, you're going to lose on both sides, right? Because you're buying when no one else is buying, you're selling when no one else is selling, and you're just la la land. But you might find that the pound dollar will be good because the U.S. dollar is strong and the pound is weak today. And euro is strong. So euro strong, dollar strong gets you nothing, but pound weak, dollar strong gets you something. So what I say is specialize in one particular currency, not a currency pair. So whether, I suggest in the book to become a greenback guru and learn everything you can about the US dollar and monetary policy toward the US dollar and economic data towards the US economy and so on and so forth. So that at least you're an expert in the reserve currency. And from there, you on days when the dollar's strong, you simply look out in the world, find something weak and pair them up. Pretty easy. And you're always kind of, pairing strong versus weak. Okay. You see what I mean? PJ Cruiser wants to know about how would a Brexit affect euro? All right. So you mean if the UK leaves? Okay, let's talk about that for a second. All right, fundamentals. So what are we really talking about when it comes to fundamentals? And that's really money flowing across borders, right? So if you want to get filthy stinking rich, or at least wealthy enough to buy yourself a nice TV, and if you can do that, it keeps riots at bay, right? So how do you develop a situation where your economy, in this case, is making money? It's producing things, it's keeping people working, and gives them income so that they can spend and all that kind of stuff and save. And really what you need is business, right? Now, communist, socialist experiments have been tried over the last 100 years and they've all failed. So capitalism seems to be the best, most efficient and effective method for keeping, food on the table and keeping people relatively happy. And so capitalism requires business relationships. A corporation needs a household, right? You have a factory here, but if households, which means people, don't buy stuff from the factory, they have to shut the factory down. But those people might work at the factory, so now they lose their jobs. And now everybody's hurting, right? You have intensive capital investment made into a factory that's now mothballed, and then the people that used to work there now are scrounging around in the mud looking for food. Now you can take this out from a micro view to a macro view and say, well, you could also, those households could be in another country. Okay? So in the old European days, if you were in Belgium and you wanted to visit your cousin in Holland, and then get on your little bicycle and then ride to, to visit your grandma in France, these three groups of people might live 5 miles apart. I think that's how the borders work. Don't you have France there, Holland and Belgium, sort of? If you're right in the right in the perfect spot, right? You would need to go through 3 different checkpoints. You'd need to change your money multiple times, and oy vey, right? So a union was developed, and they had the opportunity to really make it the United States of Europe, where they could take everything good about the democratic capitalist system of the United States that was made many hundreds of years ago, and then, make some tweaks and make some improvements, modernize the thing. So, every poet is a thief, right? And we all know politicians are thieves, so they could have stolen the best ideas from America and made it their own, right? So anyways, that whole process still failed, like every other politician. They still screwed it up. But nonetheless, they built this union. Business relationships. Think of factories in the UK selling products to households in the Eurozone and vice versa. And this was good. And they broke down the trade barriers and the walls and in particular with the Eurozone, with all the different currencies and the border weights. So now you could just walk across the border. You don't even need a new visa. You don't need to change your license plate. Things were really improving, you would think, right? Efficiency is good because inefficiency requires investment, and investment is cost, and cost is lack of profit, and lack of profit means you can't do things like hire additional employees or increase the capacity of your factories, and which again is opportunity cost lost. And all of a sudden, long story short, inefficiency, very bad, right? So long story short here, we got this great relationship, the UK with the Euro with the rest of the Eurozone, doing business together. So how could it possibly be good for the UK or the Eurozone to break up a business relationship? Right? It's like, it's like a divorce. Well, you hate your spouse because they turned out that they're a scumbag. They're just as bad as their mother. So you got to get out of this horrible relationship. But is it good for anybody? Is it good for the kids? Is it good for you physically and emotionally? Is it good for your bank account? Like, who wins, right? So yeah, if the UK, right, wants to break up and divorce, it's going to be a costly battle, right? It's not going to be pretty, and it could get ugly. In fact, it's a lose-lose for everybody, really. And most likely, what's happened is it's the non-business part of the relationship, right? So business was okay, but the political side was messed up because they like I said, they screwed it up. Do they break relations? No, but all that efficiency is going to be lost at the bare minimum. Also, another thing when it comes to the markets, the unknown and unexpected are both very, very bad for the markets. Okay? So any unknown change is bad. I don't care what it is. Let's say it's the election in the United States in November. Who's going to win? Well, we don't know. That's bad for markets. Okay? If Trump wins, we don't know what he's going to do. Okay? So that unknown could be on the short term bad. If Hillary wins, well, we know what we're going to get with her. Right? See what I mean? So maybe in the beginning they'll be stabilized, but then maybe her policies on the long run are not good. Right? So just unknown is bad because that's risk. Now imagine you're a money manager, or imagine you're a senior executive at a major corporation, Dow Chemicals or something, some big company, right? You're planning projects out 1 year, 2 year, 5 years in advance. Then you go to your CFO, and the CFO now is doing discounted cash flow analysis 5 years out. And they have to decide what are they going to discount by, the time value of money, but what are you going to discount for, and stuff like that. You say, well, in November, the dollar, or how about this? Yeah, imagine this 6 months ago, and they're saying, well, the pound could skyrocket in value or it could collapse in value. If you're the CFO working with this other senior executive at this corporation trying to develop a business plan with a 5-year outlook, how do you account for Brexit? Right? I mean, there's some serious risk here, right? And so unknowns are risky. Risk is bad. So even if you know the herd is running off of a cliff, most likely everyone's going over the cliff, even if they know it, because the other ways could be worse. That's probably a terrible analogy. So think about money, guys. Right? Don't think about the politics side. Leave that for politicians. How could the Brexit be good for anybody? Well, it could be good for a currency trader. All right, where's my mouse? All right, so there's that. How about kitty cat? Should I still be short this? Well, it seems to me we're at weekly S2. Okay. So I think if you're disciplined, because you could say, well, Wayne, it could fall farther. Oh, yeah, and it probably will. But are you disciplined? If you're disciplined, you need to take your profits on. Okay. Right? I mean, there's resistance there, right? I mean, is that right? Is that even an argument? I don't know, man. You might be a master debater, but I'm a cunning linguist. It's definitely support the way I look at it. So I'm out of this. Like I said, up here, I had 5 trades on. It was a great moment yesterday while mentoring. We were right here. And he's got this trade plan outlining like that the CAD yen or the CAD, USD CAD could bounce and head up from here because it's support. And I'm thinking, oh crap, he's totally right. and, and I'm biting my lip. I'm biting my lip like, oh my god, but I'm short 5 contracts, right? And or 5 trades, I should say. And he's on a smaller time frame, of course. And it looked bullish. I'm like, oh no. Where whatever it was, I can't remember where it was, but it was higher high, higher low. It had everything, right? And it had this. Oh yeah, it was this one, yeah. And I'm like, so he had it like this. He's like, yeah, I'm watching this. It's not quite ready, but I'm watching this, is what he said, right? And he had it like this. I'm like, oh damn, he's totally right. And we're watching it right here, and then boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Yeah, yeah. He almost talked me out of it too. I'm like, damn, that's a really good trade plan. Boom, gone. So thank you, New York Open. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba da 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 da. So Credit Suisse got wiped out on that fat finger move earlier on the pound. They shorted at 145. Whoops. All right, let's talk about yen. Ba 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 da 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 da. So here we are, USD yen. I still have this pointing down. Down, down, down. I bet you thought I was a fool when we had this trade plan. Look at this. This was actually, what, a week and a half ago. We have this coming down off resistance. Down to 103. We were at 111, guys. well, 110 actually, and went up to 111. Hit the projected top of the week, right? You see that? Zoom in here. Projected top of the week, total collapse. If you know your counter trend weekly trades, then this is supposed to come back to the weekly central pivot point. Right, everybody know that trade, the counter trend trade? Closed outside the weekly pivots. So it should come back to the new weekly central. And then maybe, of course, you might want to bring this down. Now, the farther down it falls, the more chatter you hear about intervention, don't you? But I think the biggest news here isn't necessarily USD yen, it's Euro USD. Okay? You have a monthly pivot. It's been there the whole time. And you need to decide whether you believe market participants are using that in their analysis. What do you think? You tell me. Right here is the line. And if you're a bear, shouldn't you do something? What would you recommend to somebody? Okay? Amazing thing is, it's 50% of the drop. So now all we need to do is convince the market that they're going to raise in July. Even though they're not, of course. So you should go on CNBC and tell everybody to buy the US dollar. The Fed just has to raise interest rates in July. What about their credibility? Right? Blah, 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 blah. Please make me rich, everybody. So you have that going on. Really, you either have a September hike or a December. So yeah, that's that. Well, James, what is she supposed to say? Is she supposed to say the opposite? Holy crap, that NFP means it's the end of the world. Everybody should panic. All right. The great Kurt Worley once told me that one data set a trend does not make. Okay. No, well, so we have to put it in perspective. If the spike in euro dollar is not irrational and is not a random walk, as indicated by the use by market participants of monthly, weekly pivot clusters, clearly there's some sort of intellect going on. Okay, then at what point is the market properly priced? See, the only reason it went up, maybe, is that people were short and they covered those shorts. That's it. Is euro really better than the US dollar? Seriously? That's what we're debating? Well, if that's not the debate, then it's either going to fall now or it's going to fall later at a higher price. Right? You see what I mean? So you need to have a plan. You need to have a bias. You need to wake up in the morning and say, I'm a seller of euro dollar. If not today, maybe tomorrow. Right? You stand for something or you fall for anything. Oh, look at the green candles. Oh my God, look at the red candles. You know, Pig is probably teaching you those lessons, right? Oh my God, did you hear about that poll? Pound comes down. Oh my God, did you hear about that other poll? Pound goes up. Right? Is that really how you want to base your career? Right? So, yeah, so whatever. Make a plan, Stan. Hey, did S&P make a high yesterday? Oh man, that's something that I've been talking about, huh? Let's go through this one. Nice. Nice. Look at that. Beauty and the Beast. Well, good thing I outlined all the different reasons why I don't think it'll come down, or shouldn't come down even, right? Cool. Very nice. Oil going up. Wonder how much of this is the dollar weakening. Okay. Non-farm came out -6 as expected. Unit labor costs up significantly better. Let me see if I got, no more data than that. All right, great. Cool. So anyways, that's good. Canadian dollar's benefiting, or it was benefiting. I'm out because, why? Weekly S2, faux show. Silver coming down, gold coming down. Nufletulium. Apparently 1250 was enough. What does this say for the dollar? So somebody has a plan on this. It kind of says it's going to drop, then make a lower high, and then make a lower low. Well, what kind of crazy person would make such a plan? Take care, Lucas. Interesting, huh? Target. First target's going to be down here. Let's just call it 1200. Okay. That's a weekly. Monthly, inconclusive, I'll say. So that's that. So have you decided what to do? So this test of 1350 is also the 3A2 Fibonacci retracement if the market was trending. It's not really trending though, is it? So one thing to do is pick your direction, pick your lines, make a choice. Ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba, ba-ba-bum, 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 ba-ba, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, bum, bum. You could say, sell Euro USD. But in this ever-changing world, which trading makes you hidden and cry. Yeah, so I don't know. You could have a plan like that. You could, right? Do you think it was someone's plan to buy here, 1333? They're like, damn, 1333, gotta buy it. Yeah, maybe, huh? Doesn't seem like to be the most interesting area, does it? Now, I'm going to leave you with one other way of trading this. You see how I have it trapped? You could even trap it a little bit higher and a little bit lower, really. Right? And you let it break, pull back, drop it like it's hot. Break, pull back, buy it like it's not too hot. Okay? All right. So anyways, I think that's that. Why don't we prepare tomorrow? I'll see you again tomorrow. I hope you're using the site more and more often, getting involved, developing friends and relationships, following the analysts, leaving comments, posting your own trade plans, so on and so forth. It's your community at Forex.Today. So I hope you take the opportunity to make your community a huge success. You can make it as good as you want to make it. Oh, where would you find the indicators? You mean like the actual setup? Yeah. How about ask me tomorrow in the beginning instead of at the end of the webinar, and I'll be happy to go through the setups and how I use them and so on and so forth. Would you do that? Will you join us tomorrow? Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Or if someone on Forex.Today clicks on the activity feed, maybe someone can leave an overview, because like there's plenty of people here that know what moving averages I use and so on and so forth. Maybe you can start a discussion either in the forum or on the activity feed. Just a okay. That's why we've added those community features for you. So peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. Can't wait to see you trade your plan. I'll see you tomorrow.